Yeah, hi everyone. I hope you all are doing good. This is a new video tutorial. I thought, to share something which was very interesting, which we have identified last year. So one of my friends' organization was hit with the DarkGate. I hope you all know what DarkGate is, and its analysis is out already out there. But we did identify certain other things when we were, analyzing the target activity. So, thought of sharing my analysis and thoughts on that. It's a very interesting one which I have identified last year, and there were a lot of IOCs that are rolling around the target activity. Certainly, we have also identified, and we pasted it in the public domain. So I cannot share the complete analysis of those IOCs which we have identified because there is a lot of company data that is uh, you know uh, related to it. So I was kind of helping my friend, to analyze that and to stop the attack during that time. But there is a similar pcap file which was available on malwaretrafficanalysis.net with the name DarkGate activity. So I downloaded the DarkGate activity. So thought of sharing my analysis on that. So I have already downloaded the pcap file. You can also download the pcap file. The analysis is very interesting, you know. And for this, I used a different approach using the very good tool, which is the D shell tool, which is primarily used for your forensics analysis in the pcap file. So, once you present the sudo D shell, it will provide all the commands. If you want to list down anything, it works with the command line called as the code. You can press enter and it will give you a very beautiful command line with all the information onto that. So, and primarily I'll be using Kali for this. Usually I use Ubuntu for my forensics and everything, forensics or malware analysis or for other things. But for Target, I was primarily using the Kali. So let's see what we can do with the D shell. So there is a command called as D shell -l, which will list down all the plugins for you. Oops, sorry, the code -l, which will list all the plugins for you. The best thing about this is that the most of the plugins that we want to use are already there. But you can, of course, you can actually develop your own plugins and your own command lines with this. But I have till today I have not found anything which is completely outside of these plugins that I want to use. It has almost entire things that I want to do extract from the PK file. D shell makes your life easy if you start doing it, if you start utilizing this carefully. So how we can use that, we will see it here. So for an example, let me just clear the screen. If I want to know the DNS activity, let's first analyze the DNS activity. Always remember, when you have a pcap file and you want to analyze the traffic, the very first thing that you should write is the DNS entries, that what exactly is going on in the machine at that time. So we can just press enter by writing the code -p. -p is to use the plugin. Plugin name is DNS. Now, if we carefully see that, we can see there is some internal traffic that is going on the DNS, which was resolving certain IP addresses to certain domains, which could be very, very useful. Now, this looks bit of interesting to us, you know. So, this really helps to identify certain IOCs, like especially during the C2 communications. So let's see the net flow for this. The command is correct. Yep. So this is the net flow data that is going on IP94, and eventually there are some other public IP addresses. This looks a bit interesting where the communication is going, because this contains a huge chunk of data which is being sent out. So I think, yep, here is huge chunk of data that was being sent out. See this? This looks pretty interesting. Let's look at the reverse flows. Generally, I go with in this format only. So what is going on in the network to identify. In reverse flows, we got the socket address starting with 94 and the port number is 8094. Let's look what are the top talkers in this. And here we go, our two interesting IP addresses. These are our top talkers. Let's see where is the large data is flowing. Here we go. This is the large flow data inside the environment. So it means when this machine was compromised, a huge chunk of data was being transferred within 77 seconds. So this looks pretty interesting. Uh, let's let's do the HTTP dump. And here we go. Let's read what is going on in this. So we have an HTTP method options on this IP, which 200, no content type has gone. Here some XML files are being downloaded. So it must be an API call, but the HTTP method is prop find and on the HTTP port 207. This pretty looks something interesting. This looks a bit interesting, but the HTTP method is 405. Let's see if we have something with 200. Here we go. We have 200 zip file which is being downloaded on the machine. Let's follow the stream to identify what is being downloaded on the onto the machine. So let's read this from the beginning itself. Okay, here we go. We got a connection established. Here we go. 94 is trying to connect at main search online hosting bot.com. So it means apart from that malicious file, there is already something malicious doing in this machine. Let's look. So I spent hours on this to identify what is going on in the machine. At that time, I'm just giving a straightforward like how your approach should be when you dump the network file or the pcap file from the machine. How you should be approaching, how you should approach towards the malware analysis. Yep. Here we go. Something on download. We have interesting HTTP methods open. It's pretty malicious. So if you see here is the API call that is being made from the machine to the uh, destination server, which probably could be an attacker using port 80. And here is that. These all are the very interesting ones. If you look in, here we go. Something interesting we have identified. There must be, yep, here we see that an HTTP call is being made to, to download the zip file. The content type is application/zip, downloaded on 30th Jan 2024 at 5 o'clock in GMT time, and last modified at that day, and the day it was being captured is this. But what interesting is this, that this zip file contains an independent.msi, which is of course is a malicious file. So what to do after that? That we will dump this MSI file and we will do the static analysis on this. So let me just clear this one. P, or you can use D. It's up to you. Whatever you want to use, it works on both. So web 2024, and we have to find out this one. So of course there is something going on in here. Let's download this zip file because the only HTTP call that got accepted is this. So let's download the file from here, decode minus P or D, whatever you want to write. Where, oh sorry, rep HTTP minus minus BPF. Then we want TCP and port 59007 and 2024. So if you see, the zip file is being downloaded. Let's extract. We will exit from here. Sudo unzip. Actually, just before going, I wanted to show certain other things to you, that what apart from that you can do it over there. Like for example, if you want to find some FTP traffic, you can also use FTP traffic. There is no FTP traffic. If you want to, decode some TFTP traffic, there is no TFTP traffic. If you want to have Bitcoin, you can use the Bitcoin. If you still are looking for something more clear, you can actually do, SIP traffic, for an example, decode. Or if you want to extract certain SSH public keys, you can use SSH pub key. There is no SSH pub key. Yep. If you want to have the TLS traffic, you can see that. You can find out the XOR encryption if that is going on. If you want to see the MBNS traffic, you can see that. If you want to see the country, it is being, for an example like this, decode minus P net flow plus country. If you want to see which countries it is coming from, you can get that country initial as well. Like this is US, I think this is billion. I don't know which country this is. You can check it on internet. MD. You can also get this information from this D shell. So this D shell is very, very critical. Yep. So I was saying that D shell is a very important utility. When it comes to digital forensics, I've been using this for now years, and you know, and it is working beautifully. Okay. So I recommend everyone to use D shell. But let's analyze what we have, in this. zip file. So let's unzip this zip file, and we got this indipert MSI. Now you can go with the old traditional static analysis where you download PEBR or ID Pro and or Hydra, to analyze the MSI files, or the to analyze the malwares what is going inside these files. But recently I have found one very beautiful tool which I have been modifying a lot, to perform static analysis. For an example, I personally have configured Cuckoo Sandbox over the K, and this is configured with the Mist and certain other threat intelligence tools, and and a lot more stuff in that. But recently, I have identified a very beautiful tool which is present on GitHub for free, of course, and I have been modifying this binary from long, which is the quick one scope, and I am personally liking this file a lot. If you see, this quick one scope is like straightforward tool which you just install and start doing all your network analysis, or sorry, all your malware analysis. you know it will really help you a lot in your day-to-day malware analysis. So I'm using this tool from pretty long, and I've been keep on developing this in my test labs. And trust me, you can configure a lot more things in this. You can rewrite your complete malware analysis tool, and kudos to the developers for this. You can have it from GitHub. Let me just give you the GitHub link. Uh, Let me check if we can. Quick one. Sorry, quick one. Scope. Mm, Yep, here we go. You can download this quick one scope from here. The tool is very beautiful, and the developers are doing pretty much good work in this. But I personally recommend is to add your own modules into this, because this is free of cost, and you can use it for your day-to-day static, and recently they have introduced the dynamic analysis as well. We will use it. I'm not pretty that fan of their dynamic analysis. I'm still using my Cuckoo Sandbox for that. Cuckoo Sandbox over the K, which is configured with Mist and other threat intelligence tools, and certain VM boxes, which are configured with multiple tools in that. So I personally recommend that. But you are free to modify this if somebody comes up. Just create a pull request and start distributing it to the community. Will be very thankful for that. So let's do the static analysis for that. Sudo quick one scope, and it goes with minus minus file. For an example, I first want to see if there is any virus total analysis that is already present for this. And of course, this has already been identified as a potential threat. Now, this is an old one, so of course, the information will be available. Means the community is already working a lot on this, so you will get the information on virus total. But what is the packer onto it? So let me just find the packer. This is the old legacy malwares package, which is the UPX. You can further, now this is now if you know this is the offset for the UPS itself. Let's find if there are any domains in this. If we can identify certain IOCs. Now these are the generic domains, but if you analyze this, this is Adobe is there, VeriSign is there. So it means this malware could have the maybe some things related to PDF as well. So for an example, if we install this malware, it will extract into some PDF to provide, but at the back end, it could be something very legitimate and very dangerous. So Let me just do quickly. Domain, identify what is the signature check for this. Yep, this is the executable, and this is Microsoft file. This is the document archive, and this is the MZ, the the signature for executable. Let's dump the bin files for this. So you all know that as the core malware analysis, bin files are very important, which you can look to internet and you will get thousands of tutorials how to analyze the bin files using the IDA Pro and Hydra. You can use that. Uh, for this tutorial, I'm not using it. And let me just now let's analyze the full file. So you can use the minus analyze the flag in the quick one scope, and it will start analyzing the full executable for you. So let's see what it identifies. Just give it like few minutes. And here we go. A lot of lot of critical and interesting information onto this. Now, for an example, these are some interesting patterns that are identified, which is using command prompt, add proxy into this, some random name. So what I did, I have already done the analysis on this. So I will present this analysis to you. Okay, that what exactly might have happened. So initial execution, this is a MSI, which is Microsoft Software Installer, or which is generally distribute for legitimate software, but the old legacy malware developers, they use it for to distribute the malware as well. So once this is being executed, it is triggering an installation process. We will see in coming in the below analysis that how the installation process is being going on and what could be the identification for this. So the very first thing that I have personally looked into that what are the registry files it had executed. So these are the registry files that it is trying to execute. That it queries the registry value using reg query value x. For the installed softwares and their versions, what is the registry value, and it try to modify the registry value using the registry set value extended, right? Then it disable the security software. It could be used to disable the security software as well, and set up persistence. Then it tries to delete the registry key value and registry value, right? So this is particularly used to remove the traces, from the machine. Then what are the file operations it is trying to execute? It is trying to create file using create file function. So these all are your Windows native API, Windows native functions, which are commonly used in your .NET libraries, Windows native libraries, which can be utilized to further perform the executions inside the machine to bypass the AV or the EDR monitoring. So generally, the nowadays it has come with the extended one, but generally we use extended ones to bypass the monitoring. But here in this malware, it is currently being used as the create file append, create file write to create new files, likely dropping the additional executables or DLLs, which could be the MSI DLL or add proxy. Then it write file to read or write the file, possibly to steal data. Then it deletes file using the delete file function, delete file A, delete file W. Okay, to cover it tracks and disable security software. Then it searches for file, find first file and find next file to search for specific files and all. Then it tries to make the network connections using the connect, send, listen and bind commands. And then it uses the ping binary to, to do the polling for the heartbeat connectivity check if everything is there or not. Then it creates the process and thread manipulations using the create process A and create process W to spawn new processes. Then it executes the command.exe to execute the commands, and from the command.execute.exe it opens the PowerShell.exe to run the scripts. Then it create threads using the create thread command, and this is particularly to for process injection. So if you know process injection, process following and other type of process injection techniques, you means there could be DLL injections, DLL hijacking, process hijacking and many more. Okay, then you will know what these functions can be useful. So create thread is generally, to create a thread to inject, to jump from the malicious process to the known process and then run the payloads in the background. And then it terminates the process using the terminate process function call. And there are some interesting patterns that were available, which were very, very interesting to identify, when we were doing it, which are the anti-debugging and evasion. So the function call though was is debugger present, okay, output debug string, get tick count, and there was another function which was this I generally don't see, but this was very, very interesting, which was query performance counter, which is used particularly to measure the intervals and to detect the virtualized environments. Then we have the set unhandled exception filter. Then we have embedded payloads. The malware extracts the files to the file system to drop the external executables or DLL. Then executes the embedded files persistence, adds itself to registry key to this registry key. Okay, and then it creates a scheduled task. Then it registers itself to a window automatically at startup. Then we have certain data exfiltration commands, that were identified during the uh, analysis, which was the collect data, search for and reads files containing sensitive data information, example document credentials, etc. Then they are using the connect and send command to send the data on the connected C2 communication. Then we have identified certain uh, cleanup activities which we have discussed just up. And there was another interesting function that we have identified was the set file system. So that is used to change the file timestamps, and it's harder to modify the files. Now, if you see the pattern over here, we have identified certain IOCs. If you see the decode, if I go back to the decode, so what we did at that time, as soon as we identify uh, the the, the the IP addresses which are of use, we immediately cut the connection, and put this IP address, the file hash, both the file hashes. We created the MD5 sum and the SHA-256 and the IP address, and we put it into all our security solution. Then we ran the complete EDR scan into the environment to fully clean up the machines in the isolated zone and the as well as the non-isolated zone to see whether the malware is propagating internally or not. So this is the primary step that everybody should take, to cut the connection in between so that there is no further infection in the environment. Then what you can do, you can put this IP address, domain, and you can create the file hashes using the MD5 sum. We will see that now, and 256, and add it into your EDR software and run the complete EDR scan into the environment to fully clean up the files from the environment. So this is particularly like how we analyze the DarkGate malware propagations. And now let's see the dynamic analysis for this. Now, I told you that generally I use my own Cape Sandbox, which is running at base as the cuckoo, which is connected to multiple threat intelligence tools. But for this one, I will use specifically the quick one scope itself. So let me just on the quick one. I might have forgotten to on the machine. Now, always remember whenever you are doing the dynamic analysis or static analysis, make sure your virtual boxes are not connected to the any internet, and there is no jump from the from your virtual machines to the your host machine, to avoid the infections, because nowadays the malwares are very very sophisticated. Even when we are writing the malwares, we try to identify if this machine is connected somewhere using some drives to the host machine or to some other network drives. We utilize that, and we use those drives to extract the data from those drives and then propagate to the host machines from there. So this is how the infections are being propagated from the virtual machines to the host drive. So make sure your network adapter is always off when you are doing the testing. So let me just switch it off. Or I know this malware, this is already being protected against, so I don't need to worry about. So let me just open the terminal. But just as a precaution, make sure your network adapter is always off, because I'm going to clean this machine, because whenever I do my this thing, I generally take the snapshots. Let me just showcase you this. Let me just take a snapshot before malware execution. So I'll take a complete snapshot so that once I run the malware, I would be able to delete this. So it will take only like 1 or 2 minutes. Once it's completed, we will perform the dynamic analysis. Okay. So once the snapshot is created, you can pretty much, let me just make it something big. Downloads, download, quick one scope. So here we go. .exe, quick one scope. File. Let me just bring this here. don't know where I have kept this. So I might have to download this file over here. So let me just switch to Kali. So Python 3, 1, 61,153. Let me just switch off my Defender as well, because this is already a part of the known signature, so I don't want to, you know, delete it. Thread protection, secure, and done. Okay, here's the file, the key, get message, keep anyway. Well, see, so let's just do a help that it is running perfectly fine. Yep, file, see, side, minus watch. Now, the thing with this is that it works either on the process or the process ID. So let's open the Process Explorer. If I have the, I think I do not have the Process Explorer. Let me just download it. I might have it here. So here we go. We have our processes. Let's just close the unwanted processes. Mm, can you see? Okay. So let's just run the watch. If you see, already the terminal has executed. Now it is asking for which windows. We will do it. And now it is asking for the process and the process ID. For this, we have to look this. We will go to downloads and we will look to the Windows installer, and this is asking this. We will run anyway. We'll go to Process Explorer to see the process. It has opened the process. It should be lying just, I think it will take 2 minutes for this. If you see, we got the process name and it automatically hidden itself, but it is asking us to open certain file. We will just do just once, see what exactly is going on at the back, and let's write over here msh.exe. Now it immediately said what all IP addresses it is trying to connect. It has already created the dump file. Let's see what all URLs it extracts, and we can start looking to these IP addresses, what these IP addresses are, and we can start blocking these IP addresses immediately and put those IP addresses as the IOCs. And you can see this, that we are start getting the domains it is trying to connect to. Let's wait for a few more minutes. You can actually run it in your own machine. I am running it almost every day to identify what exactly is going on in this, and we'll be able to come to know each and everything. So these are the .NET libraries, these are the domains, these are the IP addresses which are there. So we can use these as the IOCs to start blocking the, to start investigating and start blocking the environment. But this is how we generally run our malware analysis. And this is once we identify the DarkGate activity, it was huge. We immediately reported this activity to the public community as well, and to safeguard the uh, external world. So when you do the malware analysis, make sure that once you identify something, you also post it to the external community so that everyone can get safeguard with this. So with this, I am done with for today's this thing. There are a lot of interesting there are a lot of interesting things that you can identify from this. So what I suggest is to is to have uh, my book. I have already added a lot of things in my book regarding this. You can download my book from the below link and can enjoy my previous work or the recent work that I have done in the malware analysis, forensics, forensic investigations. There are huge number of forensic investigations that we have done, and I have added my personal experience in that book. So if anybody wants interested in this field, in this and simpler way, learning the simpler way, what exactly we should directly look for, how we should approach for any malware, what exactly should be our approach, how to design the incident response playbooks. I have given one example which I have specifically written for DDoS or maybe ransomware. You can have a look. What teams are involved, what is the responsibility of what person, how we should behave during incident response. I have written a lot of my experience into that. So do look to that book. You will definitely enjoy it. I'm getting a good response of this book as well. Good comments that easy writing, straightforward, no English, nothing. Whatever you want to do, how you should start, how you should approach. It's not only for like beginners. This book is not for beginners personally talking, but the intermediate people who are already doing basic malware analysis, like in their blue team. This book is specifically for them. So do read the book, do buy it. It will help us. It will help us to boost more to write such content. So thank you everyone. Thank you for your this thing. Have enjoy and have a nice day.